Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Good morning ma'am. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wita Nurmala Putri. I'm from Grup 3. In here we want to tell you about simultaneous interpreting. For the first, I want to tell you about simultaneous interpreting. A definition of simultaneous interpreting. Simultaneous interpreting is a type of interpreting in which translation from the search language into the target language is rendered in the real time. The interpreter listens to the speak and interpret at the same time. Since the requires the high level concentration, simultaneous interpreting typically work in the past alternate every 20 to 30 minutes. Simultaneous interpreting can take place in conference of communicating setting, according Gentry 1996. However, this interpreting is done more frequently in conference. This interpretation usually involves many languages. Translate or interpreting or translate from one language to the first language or type A or B language. B. Types of simultaneous. Simultaneous interpreting generally comes in two types, that is whisper and interpreting both. In whisper interpreting, the simultaneous interpreter is standing or sitting together with the audience. The interpreter translates what the speaker is saying directly to the audience. Whisper interpreting could be used when there are only a few delegates the meeting, and they are either sitting or standing close together. Suitable for occasions where the participants have to move around, such as during factory visit or museum tours. For language conference, simultaneous interpreting booth is a need. The interpreter requires complete silence during simultaneous interpreting. Therefore, the booth have to be soundproof and large enough to fit a table as well as between 2 and 4 interpreters. See advantages and disadvantages in simultaneous interpreting. Advantages of simultaneous interpreting. For the first is real-time interpretation into multi-languages. With the right equipment, simultaneous interpret can render real-time interpretation into as many languages as needed. Second is no extension of the duration of the event, and the third, fewer distractions. And disadvantages of simultaneous interpreting, that is required specialist equipment, more expensive and limited to the conference room. And D, how does simultaneous interpretation work? According to 1998 41, in the simultaneous or translation process, a translator is sit in booth listening to the speaker speak through a headset, and the translate it through a microphone. The participant can access the translation result through a headset. The main character in simultaneous interpretation to the use of a set tools such as a booth, microphones, headset, transmission, and so on. Thank you.
Okay, I will explain about public interpretation. What is public interpretation? Public interpretation or public service interpretation or PSI is the type of interpretation that takes place between residents of a community. It is carried out in the context of the public service, where service users don't speak the majority language of the country. And public service interpreters are needed to make sure that everyone can have equal access to public service, whichever language they speak. Public service interpreters usually facilitate communication between public service providers and user of the service, and they can work in hospital, police station, school, and many other. And public interpretation have advantage and disadvantage. What is advantage of public interpreting? Public interpreting help to communicate with person with a migrant who don't speak or understand the national language. And disadvantage public interpreting is be a public interpreters can be stressful. They often translate sensitive or emotive information for speaker and must also maintain strict confidentiality, and they must not talk about anything they have interpreted outside of the interpreting session. And how public interpretation work? Public service interpreters interpret consecutively, and they wait for each speaker to finish and say what they just said to the other speaker in a language that speaker understand, like creating a conversation. If you want to see the example about public interpretation, you can click the link in the description box. Okay, thank you for watching.